This is my city, my home. It might be your city, or like yours, where law-abiding citizens go about their business of working and providing good homes for their loved ones, and where destructive forces of crime and evil are also at work. In one way or another, we're all enmeshed by crime. We're either on the side of law and order or against it. We're all in the battle between good and evil.
Say, you can boil other things besides chemicals, can't you?
Best coffee maker I know of. No, Walt's missing out on a real feast. I hope he gets here before we make pigs out of ourselves. Sandwich, Inspector?
Thanks.
Have an onion, Inspector.
I don't know, Kennedy. They do things to me.
You better take one in self-defense.
Say, where is Jameson?
At the Park Hotel, interviewing Annabelle, a famous dancer who just returned from Europe.
What, again?
You know Walt.
Yeah, he's always hanging around a good-looking dish. Anybody home?
Miss Annabelle? Who is it?
It's that fool reporter again. How is she?
She's dead.
Where is everybody?
Beat it after I clip him. I'll contact you later at Henry Henderson's. Annabelle? You said they did things to you. Where'd you get that?
Craig Kennedy's office. Oh, it's you. Now, if you try to give me that routine, it's better late than never. What's that?
Yeah. And I'm here alone, so hurry over.
Yeah, we'll be right there.
Well, what's happened to Jameson now?
She's in Annabelle's suite. She's dead. After I get headquarters, we'll be on our way.
Didn't get a look at anybody but the dead woman, huh?
Unfortunately, no, Inspector.
Ooh, wow, that truck just ran over my head again.
You better go home, Walt.
Oh, no.
Someday you newspaper guys will learn not to go around sticking your heads through open doors.
Why, Mr. Jameson, who are these people? What are they doing here?
I'm Inspector Burke from the police department.
Police? Why, I don't understand.
This is Elsa Hoffman.
Oh, Annabelle's secretary and companion.
Please tell me what this means. I demand...
Prepare yourself for a shock, Miss Hoffman. Annabelle is dead.
Annabelle dead? Oh, no, it's impossible.
Bert Simmons, this is Paul Preston.
I thought you, Henderson, and the girl would be here by now.
I don't have long to talk now, Simmons. We won't see you today. Something went wrong. Elsa will contact you later with Henderson.
What is this, a stall? Listen, I advanced you people 5 G's. What gives?
We've got the stuff and you'll get it.
Hello? Hello?
And Annabelle asked me to do some shopping. Before I left, I phoned Dr. Preston. He's down the hall in room 1012.
We've been to his room, Miss Hoffman. He wasn't there.
Oh, he must be out on a call. He told Annabelle he was going to remove the cast today. She was very anxious to get it off to see if she could stand.
Evidently, Dr. Preston did remove the cast.
Weren't you here when the doctor removed it, Miss Hoffman?
Why, no, I only phoned him. He said he'd be right over. I went out to do the shopping, and when I returned...
I realize this is quite an ordeal, but we must ask questions, Miss Hoffman.
I understand, Mr. Kennedy.
Now tell us all you know about Dr. Preston.
Well, there's very little I do know. I went to San Moritz with Annabelle for the winter sports. She met Dr. Preston on one of the ski trips. When Annabelle fell while she was skiing and fractured her leg, the hotel physician was out. Dr. Preston offered his services. He set the fracture and put the cast on.
Is Dr. Preston from Switzerland?
No, he's from this country.
What city?
I really don't know, Inspector. They spent a lot of time together. Annabelle told me little. They just fell in love.
They became engaged on the other side and booked passage on the same boat.
That's right. I believe if Dr. Preston had become more insistent, he could have married her in Switzerland.
Did any other doctor attend Annabelle, either in this country or in Europe?
No. Annabelle had complete confidence in Dr. Preston, Mr. Kennedy. I'd like to rest for a while, gentlemen.
Medical examiner wants to see you, Inspector.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Miss Hoffman, how long were you employed by Annabelle?
Slightly over a year. I started to work for her for about 4 months before we went to Europe.
You're certain you can't tell us anything more about Dr. Preston?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I hardly had an opportunity to talk with him. Annabelle was terribly jealous.
Did you ever meet any of Dr. Preston's friends?
No, never. Mr. Kennedy, it's unkind of you to question me this way.
Sorry. Sorry I detained you, Miss Hoffman. You can go now.
Okay, Doc, you can remove the body. And I'm sorry I asked a foolish question. I've heard of temperamental actors, but this is the first time I've run into a temperamental medical examiner.
You must have asked him how she died.
I did, and I should have known better. He wouldn't tell me right away, even if he knew. He wants to make it the hard way.
What did he tell you, Inspector?
She's dead. Sergeant Jackson, take a look in 1012. See if Dr. Preston returned.
Okay, Inspector.
If he hasn't, check with the bellboys. They usually know everybody's business.
Right.
What have we here?
Now, this is what's left of the plaster cast. Well, so far, no marks of violence on the body, no bruises of any kind, small fresh cuts on the leg, probably made when the cast was removed.
Looks like it was removed with a hatchet. Undoubtedly, some of these pieces are covered with fingerprints.
Say, I've got an idea. I think I'll check the passenger list of the boat that Annabelle and Dr. Preston were on.
That's good, Inspector. You might get a lead.
Inspector Burke. Oh, thanks, Jackson. Keep an eye peeled. One of the bellboys saw Dr. Preston leave the hotel. He was carrying his little bag. Well, there's nothing we can do as far as he's concerned, but wait till he returns. Get me police headquarters, please.
Walt, this is the crudest looking cast I've ever seen.
Oh, hello, honey.
Close the door.
Everything all right?
Everything's all wrong, Henry. Where have you been? I tried to contact you all day.
Okay. What's wrong, Elsa?
Annabelle's dead.
What? How did it happen?
Oh, I'm frightened, Henry.
Now tell me what happened. I can't help unless I know what the score is.
Preston gave her a big shot to put her to sleep.
Yeah, he had to do that to get the stuff out of the cast.
Well, whatever he had in that hypodermic was too strong. It killed her.
Fool.
I told you it was dangerous with Preston posing as a doctor. He didn't know what he was doing.
Never mind that. Did he get the cast off?
Yes. Here's the important piece. Jameson, the reporter, came to see Annabelle again. Preston had to knock him out.
Did he see either of you?
No. So far, everything worked out fairly well. Preston left. He said he'd contact us later. The police questioned me. I guess I'm pretty safe for the time being.
Look at that, Elsa. $150,000 worth of diamonds.
It's a good way to get them by customs at that.
Good way? It's perfect. Fortunately, Annabelle was a celebrity, and they didn't bother to examine her cast. Annabelle never knew what was going on.
When I met you in Preston and San Moritz, how did you know I'd go along in the smuggling business?
When I first laid eyes on you, honey, I knew you had class. Not the type who'd be satisfied with a small salary the rest of your life. You stick to Henry Henderson, honey, and you'll be wearing mink all the time.
I love that. But what about Bert Simmons, the man who put up the money for you in Preston to pick up the hot stuff?
We'll get in touch with him when we're ready. Preston said he'd call, huh?
Yes.
He said he'd call you or me?
Me.
Well, when he calls, you tell him there's nothing we can do for a while. Maybe months.
Just what do you mean by that?
You're not very good at arithmetic, are you, Elsa? I can buy you a lot more mink if we split the money from those stones 3 ways. You and me and Simmons. Yeah. Dr. Preston has a murder rap against him. He'll be taking a prolonged trip. Now, that's a smart girl.
And she just left. Yeah, and that's it, Inspector.
Good work, Jackson. Keep in touch. Elsa Hoffman went to the Standard Hotel. She looked up a man in room 807.
Did Jackson get the fellow's name?
His name is Henry Henderson. When I get back to the office, I'll see what I can dig up on him.
Where's Elsa Hoffman now?
She went back to her own hotel. Jackson put another man on Henderson. If he goes any place, we'll know it. I'll see you boys later.
If anything new develops on this end, I'll let you know, Inspector.
You'll let me know. No, I'd better not say it. Good day, Mrs. Jameson.
So long, Inspector. Why you got so upset, Greg?
The inspector has a lot to worry about, Walt. You shouldn't rib him so much.
I was only kidding him. Now that you've got the pieces of that cast together, except for the missing one here, get an answer?
I think so, Walt. No doctor ever made a thing like this. It was applied badly and removed badly.
The cuts on Annabelle's leg were probably caused when the plaster was hacked off.
Hacked is a good word for it, Walt. The coroner's report said she died of an overdose of sodium pentothal injected into her left arm. You know, Walt, it's very significant that the so-called Dr. Preston hasn't made an appearance.
He's a tough one to check on, all right. Might have been graduated from any one of 100 medical schools.
If he graduated from a medical school.
What do you mean, Craig?
Walt, not even a poor medical student would have made such a crude cast and removed it so unskillfully. Also, I'm of the opinion that Annabelle wasn't deliberately murdered. The sodium pentothal was meant to put her to sleep. Instead, the overdose killed her.
Yeah, but what's behind it all?
That, my inquisitive young friend, we must find out. You know, Walt, I think I'll play a hunch. I'm going to ask the coroner to make an X-ray of Annabelle's leg.
Morning, Kennedy.
We're popping with news, Craig.
Oh, you're not the only one with news. The coroner just sent this over. Annabelle's leg wasn't broken. Hunches, Walt, hunches.
Well, maybe the cast was used for a sprain.
Jameson, just between pals, how stupid does a fella have to be to become a star reporter?
Well, casts are used for sprains, aren't they, Craig?
Of course, Walt, but not in this case. The cast was used as a blind for smuggling, I'm certain.
Like jewels, Kennedy?
Precisely, Inspector. And I'm certain they were in the missing piece of the cast.
That's the Henry Henderson Elsa went to see.
Record of smuggling and stealing jewels. Well, things are beginning to add up, Inspector.
They sure are. And here's a passenger list of the boat that they all came over on.
Oh?
Look under the letter H.
Henry Henderson, stateroom B.
And check who his little cabin companion was.
Dr. Paul Preston.
All we have to do now is pick him up.
Yeah, but we still have no record on Preston. Well, I guess there's only one thing to do, Kennedy. Pick up Henderson and see what we can get out of him.
Forgive me for disagreeing with you, Inspector.
Forgive you? I'm all ears. It's all right as long as it isn't his idea.
Now, hold on. I help.
Yeah, by getting your head bashed in. What were you going to say, Kennedy?
This puzzle is falling together fast. I'm convinced Dr. Preston isn't a doctor. Also, I believe he's the man responsible for Annabelle's death. And I don't think Henderson or Elsa Hoffman knows where Preston is.
It looks like you're right. We've tailed those two every minute. They haven't talked to a soul except over a phone. They went out of their hotels to do that. We're licked on the pay stations. No way of tracing the calls there unless we know which phone they'll use ahead of time.
I know, Inspector. But if Henderson and the girl have stolen jewels, where will they sell them?
To a fence.
Now, Mr. Jameson, tell the policeman the name of the fence you think will buy their loot.
Oh, there must be a dozen of them.
Right, that's the rub. We need evidence.
I'd recommend rounding up all possible suspects. We stand a good chance of getting a lead.
I'll try anything, Kennedy. I have to. Paul Preston must have dug a hole and pulled it in after him. Well, here I go. To make matters worse, the commissioner's breathing down my neck.
I need money, Simmons. I've got to get out of town.
You shouldn't threaten me, Preston. After all, you're the one who bungled the job.
Just what did Henderson tell you when he called?
That he's not ready to do business yet, that's all.
Maybe you three think I'm going to do this dance alone.
Who said anything about a double cross?
I don't need any diagrams to tell me that he and Elsa are planning to sell me out.
Preston, you know I'd never let them do that to you.
Be sure that you don't, Simmons. Or I'll be back gunning for you. For keeps next time.
The police found fingerprints on this bag of the woman who took it to headquarters. Also fingerprints that match those on the cast.
So what? Where's Dr. Preston?
If we knew that, Walt, this case would be over. Poor Inspector. He's really been on the go all day. Under the desk, Walt.
This is an outrage, Inspector. Dragging me away from my office like this.
Yeah, I know. You never bought any hot stuff in all your life. Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Jameson, Bert Simmons. How do you do?
Please sit down, Mr. Simmons.
Mr. Kennedy, I want you to know that the inspector is wrong. I never deal in stolen jewelry.
Mr. Simmons, we haven't accused you of such a thing. We merely want your help in identifying someone we're anxious to find.
Oh, I thought you were trying to pin something on me.
I want you to take a look at these pictures and tell us whether you can identify a man by the name of Henry Henderson.
Henderson? Never heard of him.
Take a look at the pictures anyway. They might refresh your memory.
This one is a complete stranger to me.
How about this one?
No, never saw him before.
Thanks, Mr. Simmons. Look at this one.
Nope, I don't know him. Say, what is this? Don't you know any of these men?
How about this one?
Nope, I don't know him. Say, how much more of this crazy game are we going to play?
That'll be all, Mr. Simmons, and thanks for coming in.
And you dragged me down here for that?
For that. Come on.
Goodbye, Mr. Rameson.
The name's Jameson. Jameson. Remember it. I might want a dollar watch someday.
Come on, Inspector. I'm a busy man.
This is your exit, Simmons. I'm not going with you.
What? Why, you drove me down here.
I'm saving the taxpayers a few gallons of gas. Besides, you need the exercise.
Very funny.
Simmons is our man, Inspector.
Does he know Henderson? Did you see the look on his face when he saw that photograph?
He's doing business with our gang, all right.
All we can do now is wait for developments. Somehow, someplace, Preston will contact Simmons.
Don't tell me what you planned. They hauled me down to some screwball's office and showed me a lot of pictures. Yeah, yours among them. I've been tailed every minute.
Well, no one's watching me, Simmons. Now get this straight. We have to meet you and turn over the stuff, or I'll do business with somebody else.
Wait a minute, Henderson. You can't do that. I'm running the show.
That's what you think. Now make up your mind. Huh? Never mind Preston. Let him take care of himself.
A double-crosser isn't healthy in our business. We better cut Preston in.
I tell you, Preston won't dare to show. He's hotter than a firecracker. Now, no more arguments, Simmons. What's the answer?
Well, you can't come here, and you can't meet me at my office. So how are you going to get the diamonds to me?
Now, listen carefully. There's a freight elevator in your office building that goes to the top floor. I'll meet you on the roof tomorrow at...
Yeah, it might work. 11 in the morning. Be sure you have the diamonds with you.
Don't worry about that. Now, bring me some small bills so I won't attract attention breaking them up. One more thing.
No, Preston hasn't called today. And what if he finds out that we did business without him?
Who's going to tell him? Me? Elsa? You? Okay, see you in the morning. And make sure no one sees you getting on that freight elevator. Well, I see you got here without a dozen cops.
Yes. Where's the diamonds?
Right here. Now let's see the color of your dough.
I brought you some 20s and 10s. The rest are quite big, but you can change them wherever you go. $50,000.
How much?
Well, that's all they're worth now after the killing.
Why, you
Please,
jerk.
Henry, take the money. Let's leave.
It's no deal, Simmons.
I'm forgetting the money I advanced you to go to Europe.
Give him the diamonds.
Let's not argue about it. I'll take those stones. All right, move over there. Elsa, move over. Don't reach for that pocket, Henderson. Well, nice seeing all of you again.
Preston, I
Shut
can
up.
explain.
So, you were making a deal.
Honest, Paul. They made me do it. They said you were too hot to do business with.
Sure. They'd let the police grab me for killing Annabelle. Maybe I was stupid to try that doctor business
You
alone,
got
but-
us all wrong, Preston. Let's split. Here's your share.
Now give me the money, Simmons.
Drop that gun, Preston!
Please don't shoot anymore.
All right, Miss Hoffman. Tell Henderson to put his hands up and come walking out.
Do what he says, Henry.
Better surrender, Preston.
The thing that gets me is poor Annabelle. She had no idea of what was going on.
Come on, we've got work to do. Coming, Kennedy?
I'll be with you in a moment, Inspector. And so ends the case of the strange destiny.